be a Mega Rewards member or sign up to TDC Mega Rewards loyalty program. Shop at our TDC retail stores or online at shoptdcgroup.com to receive one entry for every $250 spent. Draws take place from July to November. Win $10,000 every month with your entry rolled over so you can win, and win even more.
Yes, this is 50.
Terms and conditions apply.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
Are you ready for the summer? Need a plan like no other. Stay connected when you're on the go.
Sign up for internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
Once again, good morning and welcome back to today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, host of today's program, and I normally at the head of the, top of the show say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to people in the various time zones around the world. Haha. Well, the times you're just saying is, and the people listening like Rosemary up in New York, Jennifer in Atlanta, Amber in Anguilla, Chris Collins up in Sheffield. As a matter of fact, I'm going to get your opinion on this. He says Sheffield is the best place in the UK to live. We'll discuss that. And so you find that point was driven home to me over the weekend in engaging with the Wharton Forbes family, who I've been interacting with for the last 10 days or so. And they were letting me know how much they listen to the program and would try to get in, well, since you're here on the ground, try to get in to give feedback on various topics. One of the things that was pointed out to me is how much they appreciate the contribution given by Sister Sylvine Henry. That impacted me because people actually listening. So when I say good morning to Rosemary here, back on Sugar there, Petra in Antigua, we're global, right? So once again to one and all, welcome to another episode of Voices. I have with me in the studio the lady Patricia Blaze Wharton. She was here just about a week ago. And is what we called her goodbye, well for now, her goodbye salutations. We're going to talk about the interaction with the families with the family over the weekend. And so I want to welcome back to the studio. And by the way, I asked you if you know Chris Collins. He already sent his salutation. He does a show, I think it's Vibes FM. Okay. You're going to get that connection because, So, once again, Blaze, welcome back to the studios of WINNFM.
Thank you very much. So I am going to say good morning, good afternoon and good evening because I do know that there are some people listening in the UK and it is, of course, afternoon. I'm trying to get my head around saying the right things. So I'm seeing people here and saying good afternoon and good morning and all kinds of things. But I think here in St. Kitts, it's firmly good morning. And in the UK, good afternoon to everybody who's listening in. So to my family here on the island, good morning. My family abroad, good afternoon. Thank you so much to Voices and WINNFM for having us back. Thank you, Socrates. I cannot believe that a week has gone already.
Okay.
I really feel like I've just arrived. And so whilst the holiday is coming to a close, it's fine because we've already started planning our trip back. So it's good.
Okay. It is said that a tourist paradise is a native hell. You're saying that you can't believe the time has gone by already. So can you share with us from a tourist perspective, your impressions, your highlights of your vacation? Family time is so precious. It doesn't matter where you are. But I've learned so much seeing your family, how you interact and how you bond.
Yeah.
And learned so much from our conversation yesterday with Al. Is he a Forbes or what?
Shouts out to Al. Al is a Forbes, but Wharton by marriage, because he's married into our family. So it's all one family. So he is a Forbes. I'm married to my sister, so to Al and Celia, and to everybody who came out to the island from the UK. But although I guess I don't have citizenship, so I'm still a tourist to a degree. People will probably say that, and I have to go in the line with the passport that isn't one from here in St. Kitts, so I can say whatever I like about that. But it isn't, first of all, it isn't my first time here. Secondly, it is the home of my family. So what I will say, though, in terms of the aspects of being a tourist, is that I see something different every time. And there is much more that I need to learn about the island. And that changes, of course, every time. Bringing my son, who was with me the last time on the show, 24 years, has really highlighted how important it is for us to understand our history. And not just history from many, many years ago, because that, of course, is really important. But I think the history of this week already is history for us, because we've learned something new, we've built some new memories, I've made some new friends. Shouts going out to Vincent Herbert, who I spent some time with this week, which was lovely, and all of the new people that I've met since I've been here.
Any hello for Jamstar?
Jamstar's he's on the track. Jamstar's on. If it were not for Jamstar, I would not have met Vince Herbert. And so it's about how things connect and how we're all really connected, and how important that is, because then when we understand where we come from, we can kind of go together. And there's always this thing around unity, and I'm not sure how the unity is in the Caribbean compared to the UK. I haven't worked that out fully. So in the UK, we talk about we need to be more unified. I don't know how that works here, and so maybe
we talk about it also.
Do you talk about it also? Okay, that's interesting.
And it's political expedience. Most times we need to come together. But then we're still very polarized. People are the same anywhere you go. Same.
That's interesting. I just wonder if we see it differently. And I think there are some. One of my key things is customer service. And that's wherever I go. That's in the UK, that's here, it's wherever we go. And I think one of the things we've had to get used to is the speed of things. So we would order breakfast at, 8:30. By the time you get there, it could almost be lunchtime. And we just can't understand how it is that we are still waiting for this food. And then also the kind of, when the food is ready, it is delivered in such a pace. It might be climate, I don't know. It's delivered in such a pace that, when it arrived, it was at a temperature. By the time they hand it over to you, it kind of needs rewarming, is one thing. And I think I would love a bit more smiling. That would be great if people smiled a little bit more. And maybe I feel like they've got more to smile about because I'm on holiday. And that might be the difference. And we know what it is in terms of being on holiday and the reality of living here.
Yeah.
So, so I understand and appreciate that. But I'd love to do some work around customer services. If I was going to come back and do something, I would do something around customer services. I think that's a place that I would start.
I do not tolerate poor customer service anywhere in the world. Come to your establishment, I expect to be greeted. And it's in a timely manner, because if you're really busy, I'm not going to come with an attitude.
Yeah, sure.
But to be totally ignored, or when you go to certain places to tell you you can't wait. That happens. I do not. I walk away. I respect your business. When I come there as a client, a customer, and so on, I need that level of respect. I'm not looking for servitude, but just the acknowledgement, that courtesy. And we've heard that complaint over and over about many establishments here in St. Kitts. So it's nothing new, but I'm happy to hear from a tourist perspective what your experience has been and the things that you would like to see change.
I think definitely the kind of And this is also said in the UK. I'm just bringing this as a real thing. It is also said in the UK, and if I was in the UK, I'd probably be saying the same thing. But my opinion here is that even when we arrive at the counter, it looks as if, or sometimes feels as if, we've come into someone's home and we're leaning up in their kitchen
disturbing them
and asking them for some food from their cupboard. When really the service should be, good morning, welcome to, how can I help you? Would you like that? Da-da-da. And sometimes you don't even know if they're finished. You're like, have you finished taking an order? You haven't finished? And we kind of wait a little bit. My son has found that really difficult. So I'm not just talking about it as something that isn't great. I'm talking about it because if there was something that I could offer and something that I could make a change to, it would be to do some work around customer service in some of the places. But what I want to do on the back of that, was you going to say something?
Pardon?
CS difference, what does that mean?
See us difference. I'm getting a contribution from Jamster. Customer service can be
seen.
a race thing. Well, yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sometimes we find that.
So basically, there's a suggestion that the customer service could be a race thing, and somebody mentioned that. I think yesterday somebody mentioned that when it's island people or people that are returnees or visiting, their service is different to somebody who they believe maybe might have the US dollar, they were saying, or it's the definite tourists that they're not black people.
I have experienced that here.
Yeah.
At a certain establishment, we as the taxi drivers, we take the customers, mainly the Caucasians, to these establishments. And you're going to order lunch. I recall some years ago, a senior taxi driver, lady, she had gone and ordered lunch at this establishment. She'd taken a busload of customers there. And they were being served ahead of her. And then she asked her, are you still busy?
Wow.
And she actually took the passengers there, the customers there, but ordered lunch because she's waiting for them. But they're serving them first. I was actually asked, can you show me some love? Can you sit over there? They were asking me to move to sit in the next area.
No.
Hey, Socrates, can you show me some love? Yeah, you know. And I'm thinking, you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
So you're right, Jamster. It happens.
Yeah, you just brought back a level of pain in that when somebody was saying that, I was just like, wow. And it isn't even like it's anything I've heard for the first time. But it's just that there are certain things and certain experiences, as I explained when I came on last week, that I'm a real empath. So I feel things in the seat of my soul. And I feel that in the seat of my soul because I've seen it. And I guess it's about where that's coming from. And that isn't coming from just now. That's kind of been referred to as the kind of plantation complex, where we're going so far back, we're doing what we've always done, and then it's passed down from generation to generations. And there's some I'm going to probably look for. There's a particular some particular research around how trauma is intergenerational. Was it Joy DeGray?
Yes, it was post-traumatic syndrome.
Yeah.
But we don't recognize it as such, so we gloss over it.
Yeah, but it's so post that it might not be you. It's that what happened to your forefathers. That's how it's kind of trickles down. And so maybe it's that. And I think maybe because when I come here, I feel like I've come home. It's home to me. It's that story that my father told us when he lived in the UK. So when I come, I recognise certain places. We were out yesterday on a tour. Well, we were making our way to Black Rocks, actually. Sending shouts out to Will and his family, who cooked the best food we've had since we've been on the island. It was absolutely...
Really?
Yeah, that was the best food.
What did you have?
We had fish. Was it called thumbs fish or something? We had some fresh fish that they caught in the morning. Tom.
Yeah.
And we had some breadfruit and the smelted, the rice and peas, the salad. It was just wonderful. So
it wasn't the average tourist dish. It was local.
It was local. And
a lot of folks come here and can't find that.
That's such a good point, because myself and my son in particular, has found it really difficult to find what we call home cooking. And I guess maybe, I don't know if it's because we're staying in a hotel, but we found it really difficult because when we come here, we want to be eating the island food and we want to be patronising the vendors.
Local, yes.
We want to be patronising the vendors. And so you were talking about the taxis and the experience that they had. And what I would like to encourage, I don't quite know how this is going to work, but a balance between the taxis making their fare and when they stop at the resorts where the local vendors are, that they can also stop long enough for them to, does that make sense? To,
of course.
To benefit from the trade, because it's about a balance, and so therefore everybody can eat. And that might be a bit of a romantic or Afromantic statement, but that's one thing that I think would be of benefit if everybody could eat. The local food thing, we just want to find food on the street, food that's good, and we haven't really had much of that. So shouts out to Will, who made a great difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you would address were you to return is the customer service.
Customer service.
Okay.
And that what I just mentioned about being able to support the vendors if the taxis are able to wait. Because somebody was saying that the taxis have a point at which they need to go back to get another job. So therefore, sometimes those that come over on the tour can't really kind of get to.
Okay, the tour as we know it, it's roughly a 3.5 to 4 hour tour, the full island tour. That includes a half an hour at Romney Gardens, the Batik Factory.
Yeah.
45 minutes at the Fortress. 15 to 20 at Black Rocks. Now, because of the layout, you're heading mainly from west, you're touring, you're not speeding, and you're checking the time. When you get to some of these points at Bloody Point, there's a vendor who sells craft, fabric, and so on. And sometimes the flow of traffic gets congested.
Sure.
And you want to move on before you block up the roads. But she's at a point that creates a little traffic issue. Around the corner where you can see the fortress, the top of the volcano, there's the next stop. But it's a courtesy. But if you're thinking about hustling back to the port to make a next trip because the last 2 days you didn't make enough money,
sure,
they lose out. And your taxi man don't take time to support us. So sometimes there are different things that factors into that. And then you get to Black Rocks and you see you got 15, 20 minutes, and then they take longer because there may be a vendor, coconut vendor. So it's not just to go and see the view, but engage with the vendors, those who do fabric, those who do craft, and those who have the restaurants. You know, so it's the whole timing thing. So if you're going from point A to point B, like we did yesterday, specifically spend a couple of hours, that's different. But if you're hitting on the go, nobody's going to stop there to buy a plate of food. He's not going to prepare food that may not sell. Just some drinks and some snacks, etc. That's normally. But if you know there's a group coming, then he prepare according to the menu that is requested. We got about 19 minutes down past the 11 o'clock hour. And at this point in time, we're going to pause to give credit to our sponsors. And we'll be right back to talk with the
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Rams the good food people always there to serve you. Rams the good food people, locations right near you. Rams the good food people, in-store specials for you. Rams the good food people. Rams. When you need better service, Rams is always here.
internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
It's TDC for me, TDC for we. Neighbor, partner, your family. The best is yet to come, believe me. Moving forward, moving with. Hey, TDC serve the nation with the best customer experience. TDC, you are the one for we. Happy anniversary.
Together we succeed, building on strong community, pressing onward to our destiny. One love, one family. Together we succeed. Let the whole world see. Yes, this is 50.
Welcome back to Voices. We're talking to Super Blaze this morning, getting her perspective as a tourist here on St. Kitts, and we're told we have a call on the line. Good to call you live on Voices.
Hey, good morning, Socrates. How are you doing?
Listen, we've been ponging you so much. We have been ponging you so much.
It's no wonder I was sneezing up the place.
You understand? And your first call, we have so much to talk about you. Anyway, you're on,
So let me call now before I can't get in. Good morning to your guests.
Good
Yeah,
morning
Patricia
to you
Watton.
also.
Yeah.
Good morning.
You meet Mr. Courtesy and Mr. what?
Mr.
I'm looking
Courtesy?
for a name for Socrates. She can't complain for customer service.
Oh.
Oh, no. Fantastic.
Let me get into your business.
Please do.
Now, the Wattons was one of the ladies, the wife of Iceland Watton.
Iceland Watton?
Is the man who started the Hatton and Lodge.
Yes, it is actually. That's the understanding of the stories that my my elder sister was talking about.
Oh, you didn't know that?
Yeah, so we were talking about it. We were talking about it just this week, but I knew that because Dad had spoken to us about that, many years ago. But when we came,
a very large benevolent society. They still have the funeral home over in Cayon. They have the society building and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to hear that part. And then there was a Wharton who used to teach at Basti High. He worked at ZIZ. Socrates, you know what I mean, right?
No, give me a name.
About tall like you. He taught biology, then he worked at ZIZ. Then I think he worked at the IT center. I didn't hear his name, so I was wondering if he's around. Because nowadays, every time you turn around, somebody gone.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to speak. My sister would have to tell me.
Socrates, you don't remember what I mean?
No.
Wharton, he used to work ZIZ man.
What was that his name?
About the same height as you. He taught also at Basti High School with me.
Okay.
But anyway, condolences to the family. I want to send some condolences to Miss Penny. Sylvia Penny?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, somebody was asking me if she related to the Wattons. I don't know.
Name on that?
Penny, I don't know. Is this Mrs. Henry?
Her husband is from over that side of the country.
I don't.
Her daughter, Joya, I don't know if Socrates knows her. You know Miss Penny, right?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Yes, her last daughter passed. So condolences to her. Condolences also to Charles Pemberton. He was the livestock officer at the agriculture department.
Okay.
And then the last place I heard, he worked down at Ross University. He was married to Miss Crossley's daughter, who was a teacher. Who passed the other day.
Yes.
Right.
So, Miss Henry, though, when I come next time, though, I don't know that I've got time this time, but I think that it would be an absolute pleasure to spend some time with you. I visited my sister, Rubilet, who I'm sending well wishes to. She's not very well at the moment. But on saying that, when I mentioned to her that I had spoken to you on the radio, it certainly... yeah, absolutely. It altered her mood. She was very excited.
Yes, I'm telling you.
Yeah, she's...
And interestingly, how I come to meet her, I dial a number and I dial the wrong one.
Oh.
And so I got this person, you know?
Yeah.
And then she was telling me, you know, how she's bedridden and all of that.
Yeah.
And she has not seen some people and whatnot.
Because that's what she said. She
Don't
said
worry
she
about it,
couldn't.
you know?
She
I
said
said,
she
"Don't
couldn't
worry
remember.
about it. I'm going to send requests for you every day
Oh.
on the radio." So I started sending requests. And it was so amusing because she said one day the husband came home and a friend gave him $20 and said, "I thought she did." You know, so many other people not seen, I thought she had passed.
Wow.
So then they began to communicate with her and say, you know, and other people. Jupant became a close friend. I don't know if Jupant has a store down in the mall.
Okay.
He used to visit her like every weekend, you know, different people and so. And she calls in on the radio, and I admire her, you know, lively spirit.
Yeah,
And
she
this
admires
all
you
came
also.
about because our missed call, wrong call.
But here's what.
You never know what impact you could have on people, eh?
That wasn't a wrong call. That was the right call.
Let me.
Yes, because it got her out of their shell and everything. So people now know she's alive and they hear on the radio. And she has a very nice voice.
But here's what, no. I think the family's in love with you because I was speaking to Pat's elder sister yesterday, and she was telling me, along with her husband, how much they listen and look forward to your contribution on the program. I would say, really? Yes, they look forward. They like when you call in. They love what you have to say. They look forward to learning so much from you. That's so very important. Rosemary, we have to say,
Yes,
ma'am.
tell them
Impression
thanks.
them.
Oh,
Tell them
yes,
thanks.
too. Good morning, Rosemary.
She's listening.
Look, knowledge is no good if it's not shared, you know.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, what I know, it make no sense you come up to the cemetery and stand up by my grave and ask me. You know, some people go to the cemetery.
Sure, no.
And Daddy, how thing this morning? And when Daddy was alive, Daddy couldn't find them.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow.
Nobody come up to the cemetery to ask me anything.
Powerful.
I am sharing all I know, what I know. To add to the knowledge pool.
Do you know they say the best business ideas are in the cemetery? Because people die with their ideas.
Yes, I don't want mine to go to waste. So nice hearing you. What I call to say, I was quite impressed with the speeches made by most, if not all, of the Caribbean leaders at the United Nations.
Okay.
They spoke with confidence. I mean, Dr. Drew, you heard Dr. Drew's
No, I missed a presentation. I think it was out with the family.
Oh. And then Mayor Motley, as usual.
That I highlighted, yes, definitely.
St. Vincent, Dominica. Everybody's speaking up now.
On the same page?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Say, look, the reparation thing is no joke. You know, and then there was this rude interview with, I think it's a British.
Is that Richard Medley? I just saw that. It's terrible. It's almost an insult when he speaks to the president of, or Prime Minister of Guyana.
But I was glad that he answered him the way he did.
Absolutely.
That's why I said we're speaking up now with more confidence. Because we know who we are.
And also the way in which he delivered it was very cool, very calm, very confident, and very concise. And
I laughed when he said, yes, you're benefiting.
That's right.
That is what I think throw off the journalists, you know.
Yeah, it was
personalize his answer.
Because he was saying that that we are asking for reparations, and that it's what was done to our ancestors. Yeah, that's right.
For the ancestors too. He said, well, you are one of the beneficiaries.
Absolutely.
I think that is what threw off the journalists.
That was a fantastic response. I found that interview very painful. They couldn't have found more of an imbecile than Richard Medley to do that interview. It was just ridiculous.
We're all proud of Infideli. We're proud. Oh Lord, if it was Mayor Motley, not to say if it was Gaston Brown from Antigua, you might have given him 2 slaps. You might have given him 2 slaps. The boy I know your place who you're speaking to.
But apparently he's the Guyanese Prime Minister is friendly with Mayor Motley. I heard that they're quite friendly.
But yes, remember they are members of CARICOM, you know.
Yeah.
So CARICOM is a united thing, and then in CARICOM the different ministers from the countries, the prime ministers, are given the whole call like a ministry. So ours have health. I think Mayor own must have been foreign affairs.
Okay.
Guyana has to do with agriculture because they have the land and the colleges and stuff. Each one has something to focus on.
Did you say St. Kitts is health?
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've done some international work in the UK talking about prostate cancer, diabetes. And I've done it with Dr. Lachlan, who I should have found when I came onto the island.
Diabetes.
That's right, he does diabetes.
Very dedicated.
Yeah, I think I need to find him before I leave, actually. So we've done some international work where we done Zoom calls. So shouts out to Scanlon also, because Scanlon is the St. Kitts and Nevis London Association, and they're here.
Socrates, you know, his office down Market Street still?
Yes.
Yeah, Central Market Street. Yes, I was so proud.
I can call him at least to make a connection.
Yeah, that would be brilliant if you could do that.
I was so proud of our leaders. Because it's time enough to speak up, and speak out. All right, then.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being such a good influence to my sister. I really, really appreciate that.
Okay, here's what. I'm going to be got accused of allowing her to speak for a length of time because last week I more or less advised folks to keep their call concise and to the point. But
Nice.
when you have that level of content to share, and it was a nice flowing conversation. So for those who will say, well, you're less... No one was calling. For those who are going to say, oh, you're less sister, we speak for this and that and that. Please understand, sometimes you call and you get the same courtesy. But we're going to ask the callers to just keep it as short as possible so we can get more persons contributing to the program.
So interestingly, I have a really good friend of mine, and we spoke about him when I was here last. He's referred to as my stage husband.
Excuse me. And we take calls as they come in, okay? Beautiful, thanks.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so... You got one? Okay, I'll come back to that.
We'll come back to stage husband. But yes, call. Welcome to Voices.
Come back to my marriage.
Yes. You're there? Are you there? You're live on Voices.
Hello.
Good day of you, sir. Welcome to the program.
Yes, the King. Good morning, and good morning to your guests. Short and precise. Yeah, I just want to say, with the interview with the president of Guyana and the British TV host, you know, quickly, I've been saying all along that change is inevitable and change is unstoppable. Now, some may say nothing happened before its time. Well, I would say they are afraid right now, the King. They are so afraid. If you look back on what I bring to the fore pertaining to what Joseph Borrell has said, when he said that Africans are easy target, Europe is a garden, the rest of the world is a jungle.
It's a jungle, yeah. Saw that.
Now, recently he changed his rhetoric, and the Finland politician, his name escaping me right now, he said, in order for us to combat global climate change, African women need to have more abortion.
Yes.
They are afraid, the King, because their time is up. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you very much for your contribution, as usual. Ms. Holland, okay, your stage husband?
Okay, so to Junior Liebert, he comes out to...
The other Junior
The
Liebert.
other Junior Liebert. The other Junior Liebert, let's be clear.
Before this one gets thrown
Liebert.
out. Oh, you have a woman from England coming here.
No, the other Junior Liebert.
Okay.
And he is only my stage husband. But he comes to the UK, from the UK to St. Kitts every year. And so I've posed a question to him. I'm hoping he's going to come back and tell me why it is that he returns so often. What is it for him that makes him return
so often?
I'd love to hear from him. So if he comes in, I will say from his perspective, because he comes on a regular basis. But I do feel that this time now, I'm already ready to come back because I think there's more for me to learn and understand. And yesterday, we were on a drive. We were going to Black Rocks, and as you know, we stopped at where the space at which Molyneux's,
your
on the corner.
Grandparents' house was.
My grandparents' house was, and just to be in that space was just a very emotional reminder of the stories that we heard. But standing in that plot on that ground, feeling very grounded but emotionally moved, tells me there's stuff that I need to come back and find out some more about. So therefore, when Miss Henry's posing questions about all the various different Waltons and the different people that live in the different parts,
you need to investigate
I can
that.
say, actually, I know that, or I understand that bloodline, that storyline. So Junior is saying that he comes home because he feels part of the fabric of St. Kitts. He feels like he belongs and he's amongst his people. And he gets depressed each time he's leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So St. Kitts to come back to UK. So he really does feel, he really is a Kittitian. He really does feel like he's a part of the fabric. And I get it.
But your sister and husband come back annually. But during the COVID era, they would come back. They shared with me that would come home to St. Kitts. And at one point, they would spend 6 weeks bring their kids here. Well, more or less to get but they do that, and they're happy to say so. We come back home.
So yeah, so they've really migrated so Junior comes for a couple of weeks and he goes back. They've actually come. I would say they've come home. And I think their holiday now is probably in the UK.
Okay.
So it's the reverse now.
So this was the half local?
This is the half local. That is her new name given to her by my son. So I feel that it's that. And even this time now that I've spent time like in my sister, I could see how I could be here for a longer period of time. But I feel that when I come back, there's something that I need to contribute. There's things that I need to give. I can come and drink rum and that's great. And go up and down the strip and that's lovely. But I always feel that there's something I need to do before I leave, which I have. I must send a shout out to the children's home actually, which I haven't visited this time round. But I did make some contributions when I was here some years ago, so I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got all the tomorrow to do that. But in the meantime, I'm sure we want to give credit to Caesar. And then we return and continue chit-chat, okay?
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Are you ready for the summer? Need a plan like no other. Stay connected when you're on the go.
Sign up for internet and get 1 month free, plus a chance to pay $0 for the rest of the year. Plus, get a chance to win free data, gas vouchers, $500 cash weekly, grocery vouchers, Fed tickets, and more.
Switch over to Flow.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust. To secure your investment, you need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind. You're always safe with us.
Feel the magic happening.
Campari.
Taste.
Something incredible happens when Campari is mixed just right. Like Campari and orange juice poured over ice. Taste it. Try it tonight. Bitter, sweeter, better. Campari. Must be 18 years and older. Drink responsibly.
And I was thinking that you didn't have to wait for me, Jamster. You could have let Pat. She's on her own show. She runs the Let's Talk show. This is Voices we're talking. So
Let's Talk
you go
show.
ahead. I'm taking a call from my daughter. You go ahead. Go ahead.
So I manage a radio station in the UK, Chalk Hill Community Radio Station, and I have a talk show very similar to Voices. It's called the Let's Talk Show, and we discuss a number of topics. And for those of you that didn't listen in on Monday, King Socrates, of course, was my very first guest when I started. And so it's my pleasure to be back here in St. Kitts and Nevis and taking part in this discussion. So I was talking to my friend Patrick Liebert, Junior Liebert, who resides in the UK but comes to St. Kitts and Nevis every year, and one of his fond experiences is that of the music festival, something which I haven't done, but I need to make sure that I do that next time. We were also talking about my sister Celia and her husband Al, who now I say actually that they live here and visit the UK, where before it was the absolute reverse. But my time here in St. Kitts and Nevis has been wonderful. We were talking about customer services earlier, and I have to say that we went on the Eagle catamaran, and the customer service there was second to none. From the moment we arrived at the dock and stepped onto the boat, it was fantastic from start to finish. So shouts out to, I can't remember, that's Denny, Elvis, there might have been an Ian, but everybody was wonderful. The trip was a great experience. We all had an absolutely fantastic time. When we arrived in Nevis, the food, so I've had some other home cooking as well. We went to Nevis. The food was brilliant. Was it my fish that I had? But anyway, the fish was fantastic. I don't eat meat, so I was really excited about the fresh fish that we had there. So that experience was wonderful. So that is a real good example of great customer service. I don't want it to sound like we haven't had any great service elsewhere, but that was exceptional. Sending shouts out also to Sugar Bay Hotel. I've not stayed there before. We normally stay at the Marriott. I've not stayed there before, but the staff there have been so helpful. And there is lots of smiles from them and great greetings. So I guess for the tourists or people that come to spend time, if they stay at Sugar Bay, I have to say the service has been wonderful.
That's a plus. That's good.
That's good. Yeah, I've loved it. It's been brilliant. Every morning, every evening, every going in and out, whoever's at reception, you get a greeting. There's a nice smile. They're very helpful. Mm-hmm. If you call for something at the room, they've just been wonderful, to be honest. And so if that could be replicated across different parts of the island, that would be wonderful.
I think in most establishments you'll find that level of competency, but there are times you'll find the odd thing and you remember the negative about others, because that level of service is what one becomes accustomed to. When you don't find it, it has to be pointed out. Okay, the lines are open. 662-0989, 466-0989, and idea says 762-0989. Please be part of this discussion. We are doing Blaze Goodbye for Now show. She was here last week. First time in the studio to Win FM. Second time now. They're leaving shortly, going back to the UK, and I believe we would have made some wonderful memories.
100%.
One of the things we would like you to be able to boast about is having visited Culturama in Nevis. That's part of the summer festival, centered around the same August bank holiday weekend in the UK.
Okay.
On that same time frame. Antigua, Nevis, Tortola, and Anguilla centered the celebration around the Emancipation celebration, August 1st, around that time. Other countries, including St. Kitts, have taken the carnival into December. Because of the church, Trinidad is in the Lenten season, February, March, thereabouts. But it was really a celebration of emancipation.
Do you celebrate Black History Month there? Do you have a Black History Month?
No. We follow what's done in the US, but we don't have a Black History Month that is from St. Kitts alone. even the emancipation celebration is now more commercialized. But it really started as the celebration of our emancipation, which morphed into carnival.
Okay.
And that's how it is today. I would have done a song called 2034, questioning what would carnival look like 2034. That will mark the 200th anniversary of emancipation. Will it represent the celebration of our freedom, or a jump up or wind up with something commercial? That's about 11 years from now, roughly.
That's interesting.
But Nevis, Antigua, Tortola, and Anguilla have their celebrations around the time. So if it's possible, it would be a good thing to go to Nevis and enjoy, see the because you're on a cultural journey, see the Culturama.
And that's in August, did you say?
That's in August. Most time we say St. Kitts, but it's actually St. Kitts Nevis.
I have to remember
you can step on people's toes when you... Sister Henry!
That has happened to me before, you know.
Mention Nevis.
That has happened to me before. Somebody got really annoyed with me, and I was just saying to my friend Junior, I need to remember to say the two together. Dad used to talk about St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla. That's how Dad used to say it.
It used to be a colonial union back until 1967 when Anguilla seceded.
So I must get that. So if I have offended anybody, I can assure you, going forward.
On a tour, when we stopped by what we call the War Memorial, the Senator of Dumbia, we pointed out 3 tombs. And I pointed out that the 2 on the left, that's built from volcanic material, represent St. Kitts and Nevis. The one on the far right is built from coral material, representing Anguilla.
Yeah.
So St. Kitts and Nevis is volcanic in nature, and Anguilla is origins. So they represented the nationals or the locals from St. Kitts, Nevis, and Anguilla that went off to fight in the 2 world theaters, World War I and II. The names are inscribed on the plaque at the base of the cenotaph, but people pass by and don't see the significance of the 3 tombs. So
is there something, I know that we drove past it, but is there something that says that, or is it just that you know that from your knowledge?
The plaque is there, and all the names of those. And on the second Sunday in each November, there is a memorial service where the military and folks go. I had a neighbor from Montserrat who was serving the RAF, lived next to me in Birdwalk. So a lot of us went up to contribute at many levels, some straight in the wars, and those doing the Windrush.
It's only recently now, and big shouts out to somebody who I adore. I just find him a phenomenal individual who is very humble in all that he does. But that's Dr. Jack Bueller of the Nubian Jack Trust.
Okay,
and
I'm familiar, but
yeah, you've probably heard. I don't know. You may or may not have heard of him. But what he does in the UK is that he instills or erects what we call blue plaques, and the blue plaques talk about people that have made contributions in the UK. It might be that they've resided in the UK for a particular time, but he has really raised the profile of our African soldiers, our black soldiers that fought in World War II. So in the same Sunday that, I think it's the second Sunday of November, where they are now recognised. But for a very long time, there was no knowledge that anybody...
It takes people like you and himself who bring that out about the history and gives a sense of pride.
I love doing that piece of work. I love hosting generally, but whenever I leave an event for the installation of the blue plaque for Nubian Jack, I feel that I have gained something each time. I think must be more than... We were talking about Choice FM, and I think Choice FM radio was plaque number 60. We're definitely in the 80s now, and Jack's trying to reach to 100. So it's great that you celebrate that here. And it's only just about happening now in the UK.
662-0989 gets you on the discussion. We got about 10 minutes before we pause for the Win FM's midday newscast. We would love to hear from you. What do you think? We have in Patricia in the studio. We're talking about a tourism perspective. Family is from St. Kitts. Good morning to Al, and his wife is Cecilia. What's her name?
Your
sister.
Cecilia.
Cecilia.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Cecilia.
Yeah.
She's the one who spoke so glowingly about Sister Henry. Gonna have other family members coming in today to speak about a certain thing they recognize the notice on the tour. So
yeah, because for some of the people that have come on tour with us, it's their first time to St. Kitts and Nevis.
St. Kitts and Nevis?
St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
And we have indeed been to Nevis as well. It's their first time here. So it's great to kind of observe those that have been here for the first time. I mean, the space at Black Rock, just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful feeling. A beautiful place, such a beautiful place. The view
you went down by on the tire bed there, the stairs.
Shouts out to Bev, actually, because Bev Williams told me about that space. Because we've been to Black Rocks before, but I didn't know about the tyre space, which happens to be right next door to the bar that my cousin runs. So just wonderful, and just a great sense of, isn't this an absolutely beautiful island to be? Sending shouts out to my friend Trevor White, who's tuning in from the UK.
We're global.
Shouts out to Trevor and everyone else that's tuning in. To my cousin Trevor Lawrence, if he's tuning in. So we've been posting loads of photos around the island in our time spent here. It's just been wonderful.
You got a picture of your son picking sea grapes.
Yeah.
You have no idea how iconic that is. That is what we did as children. During the summertime, we went to the coastal region because the sea grapes go along the coast. And we picked the grapes, took a leaf, and made a funnel or measure of grapes, and we sold them for like a dime. And that money went to buying school books and school supplies. Now, about 2 weeks ago, I'm walking on 4th Street. It's a Saturday morning. And there's this young lady, and she's selling grapes in the same funnel. And I bought from her mainly because I wanted to support that energy. And I said to her, this is how we did it back in the day. To buy school books, that's what I'm doing. I'm buying school books. So the tradition, right? So that's why I thought it was so iconic to have your son reaching up to pick sea grapes, but you don't know the history of that.
What was brilliant was that a number of things. So, of course, I found that moving. I've spent 30 plus years professionally working with children and families. And so anything child related, I'm also a psychologist, psychotherapist, but anything child related, I'm always intrigued. But I think there was a number of things that I found it moving that they were selling grapes to purchase books because that's what has to happen. But actually there's some levels of entrepreneurialism there because my son was talking about that, and that sets you instead for good businessship. But what was wonderful was that in the UK, we very rarely go anywhere and pick something off a tree and eat it. So so that was another wonderful thing. And my son's 24, rising 25.
He
so
asked
I
me
filmed
he had
that.
to wash it.
Yeah.
So wash what?
That's it.
You're going to call? Grapes.
What I'm saying is...
That's picking on a farm.
What I'm saying is...
Those are farm workers. But to walk along the street and pick a fruit. Pick and pay. In Canada? I don't know.
Well, he wasn't paying for nothing. He was just picking and eating. What I'm talking about is that, of course, there are people that have apple trees in their back gardens, but I'm saying it isn't an everyday occurrence. So, Jamps are saying that's probably something that happens
That's new to me. News to me. Pick and pay.
Pick and pay. Yeah, we just pick it.
I see.
No, well, we didn't weigh. I just ate them, but we're grateful. But even if it was to... Even that in itself would be great, to pick and pay. I love that. I've tell you what, I've heard timeout and knockout, but pick and pay, that's the new one, boy. Pick and pay. I got to just go back to that, that line, timeout versus knockout.
Yep.
I think in the UK, they can't believe that. They are still running that joke now.
Yeah.
Timeout and knockout. So now there's pick and pay.
Saying good morning to Amber over there in Languela. She's in touch. She's complaining that she don't, seen so and so. But okay, we have another technical challenge here. Culture. We got about 5 minutes before we break for the newscast. Let me know about the grapes. Picking up the grapes was part of what we just took for granted. It's beautiful because back then you had slates as to write on.
Yeah.
And you bought your books and you cut it in half.
You cut your books in half?
You cut an exercise book and cut it in half.
So that you could use it for 2 subjects?
Yes.
Oh.
And it just prolonged the whole thing. And we got when you lost a leaf, you got the climate cherry. You know, it's like a resin, a sticking, and you stick back in your leaf in the box.
I think we saw that.
Climate cherry tree.
Yeah, we saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
Because somebody was talking about. I think it was Rudy, who's coming on a bit later. I think he was talking about how it was used to make things back in Barbados.
We use it mainly for sticking your leaves in the book when you lose a leaf and you didn't want to go home to face a knockout.
Oh my gosh! Oh, wow!
We got creative.
But do you know what? Yeah, do you know that builds real resilience? You know, although that's really touching. That builds real resilience. I want to send shouts out to my adopted sister, Sandra, who's listening in from the UK.
Got a call? Let's take this call and bring up things. Good, they call you live on Voices, and we got a tone. Let's see if we can get you back. On for this call, a good day, you're live on Voices.
Good day, sir. To you and your guests. I'm enjoying the program, but I don't know anything about this two subject with the book cut in half. I know you have to put up half. I know.
I am happily corrected. So you cut your book in half also?
Of course, that's why I tell you know about that.
What about the sea grapes?
The
Sea grapes.
Yeah, I know all about the grape too. I know all about the grape. I know all about the slate you spoke about.
The slate, yes.
Yes, and the book is coming out. The climate cherry, yeah.
Put it back in, yeah.
All of that.
Now, this generation have no idea what we're talking about. They don't have computers.
No idea.
And all that. So we understand the progress and the advancing technology.
Man, we came a long way.
Mm-hmm. And they join a level of success that we never had in terms of their books and how they can learn online and this, and had to go to school and stand up and scrub your bench at the start of every school season.
These people get a lot of privilege now. Indeed, they can't even lift up their bag when we book cut in half.
Seriously. I recall those days, man. I want to thank you for calling in, joining the conversation. We are
no problem.
This is Calypsonian security officer. Call him
Chukai.
He hasn't been present in the tents for some time. And we're about to start the carnival season with the Calypso tents shortly. The first tent will be the Legends Calypso tent around the 5th of November. But that's a different discussion. Your sister promises to be there. So you're going to get something that you don't get.
When is that?
And 5th of November, you'll be long gone. You can't come back for that. And she'll be able to, I met you at your first Calypso tent, I think it was.
That was my first Calypso tent.
Well, she'll be able to enjoy a authentic Calypso tent here in St. Kitts.
I wonder if I could get back. When is it again? No, I'm joking.
Nah, okay. Right?
5th of November.
Yep, that's when the Legend tent opened. The Proud Sound, they opened on the 19th, I think. So there are 2 Calypso tents. And we more or less kickstart all carnival activities. So, yes, Chukai has been missing for the tent for some time. But hopefully, who knows? Who knows? So we've had a very nice discussion this morning, a couple of calls. One of the most important from Sister Henry, because we were speaking about her yesterday. The family is very much impressed with her. And she started to sing with your sister, but sending up morning greetings. So, and your sister, the other one, who says she really looks forward to her contribution on this program. Very important. We got about a minute before we go.
Can I use that minute to say that one of the things that has been most profound, and this might sound a bit odd, is the roads. The roads that you have out here in St. Kitts and Nevis are far better than the roads we have in the UK. I've got to tell you. I know that there's your ramps are a little bit different because it just seems like a strip of rubber. And in the UK, the ramps are made of the same material as the road. But the roads are terrible in comparison. I cannot believe how smooth your roads are. So even when you say, there's a dip, I'm just like, I barely even see the dip.
But here's what. I had a friend from Antigua was here a few weeks ago, and she attests. She went back to Antigua, and she's had a custom. She's now in Guyana enjoying cricket. And she sent me clips saying the roads in Guyana are not as good as those in St. Kitts. So on that note, we now have to pause to entertain WINNFM's midday newscast. Thank you for that.
We'll be right back.
Found the sound 98.9 WIN FM.
now bring you the headline news. The headline news is brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Caribbean.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
With over a century of perfection behind the Mackeson name, a smooth blend with perfect balance and richness, it's no wonder Mackeson Triple Stout has a legacy of perfection. Enjoy the world over. Introducing our new look with the same great taste. Mackeson. All hail the king.
Please drink responsibly.
Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com. When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured.
With the Win FM headline news, I am Yulana Weeks. Locally, Deandra Finley identified as 22nd murder victim. Recent group of Haitian migrants in St. Kitts being housed at police headquarters. St. Kitts Nevis police team wins men in aprons cook-off competition. The details and more straight ahead. 10 individuals who were rescued from the Atlantic Sea off the coast of Connery, St. Kitts on the night of September 20 received medical attention and are doing well. The group involved Haitians, including a 2-year-old and a captain from the Commonwealth of Dominica. A senior police told Win FM on Monday morning, September 25, that the group is housed at the police headquarters, whilst the captain remains in police custody. The vessel which they were aboard was in distress whilst making its way from Dominica to St. Marta. The St. Kitts and Nevis Coast Guard and an aircraft belonging to the Martinique Coast Guard collaborated in the rescue efforts. It is unclear the way forward for the Haitians, whether or not they will be returned home, be granted time in the country, or receive legal representation. Leaders of CARICOM initially made a decision to revise the Treaty of Chaguaramas by March 30, 2024, which would guarantee all CARICOM nationals the right to unrestricted travel to live and work in the member countries of the community. Haiti, a CARICOM member state, has been in turmoil for decades, and the situation continues to worsen there. Haitians often brave the open seas in search of a better life and oftentimes are intercepted in St. Kitts and Nevis waters. Mr. Craig Tuckett, legal representative for the group of Haitians that were intercepted in Nevis in February 2023, told WINNFM that some members of the group were able to acquire jobs and have rented their own spaces. An update from the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force on the recent matter will be provided later. A shooting incident at Old Road Bay on Saturday night, September 23, 2023, claimed the life of a 32-year-old male. The St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force confirmed the murder early Sunday morning, stating, quote, just before 10 p.m. on September 23, the police received a notification from the Joseph and France General Hospital that a male presented there with gunshot injuries. The male, who was identified as DeAndre Finley of St. Peter's, received emergency treatment but later expired. Investigations surrounding the cause of his injuries are ongoing. End quote. A senior police officer later told WINNFM that Finley passed away before midnight whilst undergoing surgery. Finley's murder was recorded as the 22nd homicide in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis in 2023 and the third homicide in the month of September. In the Federation, the current trend shows an average of 2 murders committed per month. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force copped the winning title for the Men in Aprons Food Festival and Cook-Off competition on Saturday, September 23, 2023, a culinary experience for a cause. The police team received 214 points and was represented by Police Constable Cleavon Chumney, Police Constable Amor Richen, Woman Police Constable Preeta Douglas, and the team's leader, Deputy Commissioner of Police Mr. Cromwell Henry. For the appetizer, the police team prepared a shrimp and avocado salad, and for the main course, breadfruit and beer battered chicken. At first glance of the main course, the presentation depicted the design of the St. Kitts and Nevis national flag. It proved timely as the Federation celebrated its 40th anniversary of independence. The police team is expected to defend their title at the next hosting of the competition. In second place was Carrie Brewery, 205 points, and in third place, ASAP Group, 203.5 points. The other teams represented were the People's Action Movement, Team Small Business, and the Joint Rotary Team. The panel of judges included Mark Brantley, Junie Liburd, O'Keefe Marshall, and Stacey Hobson. Mr. Bagnall and Jay Black were the hosts. All proceeds from the event were solely to the benefit of the Cardin home. Regionally,
I would like to see the pensioners get an increase.
This is the budget wish of many people 65 years and over who say the cost of living has become too high for them to survive on the government-assisted grants they currently receive. Speaking to CNC3 News, some pensioners said they're hoping for a whopping 70% increase.
Grocery prices too high. It's definitely too high, so we would need an increase. I would like to see the pensioners get an increase. $3,000 a month is not even $50 a day. Check it down. When you break it down to maths, if you know maths, when you break it down, it's not even $50 a day. So a person can buy $50 a day when all that price heavy in the grocery.
In addition to the cost of food items, some say too often it is difficult to purchase medication and these grants as well. Take 72-year-old Rebecca Antwine, for example. As someone with comorbidities, she said her medication is expensive.
I am hypertensive, so I have to buy my medication and so forth. And some places you don't get it because it's expensive. The government don't give certain prescription because it is kind of expensive, so I have to purchase that. I have to pay the light bill, I have to pay the internet and so forth. You know, my husband deceased in 2019, so it makes it a little harder.
The Trinidad and Tobago Association of Retired Persons Limited, which is 40,000 pensioners strong, is also calling for Finance Minister Cullum Imbert to take their recommendations into consideration as he prepares the budget for financial year 2024. Speaking with CNC3 News this afternoon, Executive Director of TAP, Reynold Cooper, said, as cost of living increases, so too should old age pension.
One of the things that TAP has been asking for is that it is possible to link pensions
with the cost of living alone. So as cost of living goes up, if pensions can also go up. The Ministry of Finance normally will approach us and ask us if we could submit our proposals and recommendations, which we do. So we have done that for this budget.
At present, the maximum senior citizens' monthly pension is $3,500. The last time the pension was increased was in the 2015 budget under the People's Partnership. The Finance Minister will read the budget on October 2nd. Kimberly Fletcher, CNC3 News.
The opposition APNU is laying the blame squarely at the feet of Vice President Barrett Jagdeo over the embarrassing cost recovery audit of the ExxonMobil company. Mr. Jagdeo has already cleared himself of any wrongdoing, declaring that he only has oversight functions of the oil and gas sector and not day-to-day management. But the APNU is adamant that Mr. Jagdeo was aware of the issue and the audit announced by the government is a cover-up. In a statement, the APNU said the evidence and verdict are already starkly obvious. According to the APNU, first of all, there were not negotiations, but submissive giveaway of the country's revenue. The party said Vice President Barrett Jagdeo most likely authorized the underhand effort to cede $214 million of the people's money. The party said Jagdeo's attempts at what it sees as a cover-up and blame-throwing are clumsy and self-incriminating. According to the political opposition, Guyanese cannot afford to lose such large sums of money due to incompetence. The opposition said the audit scandal, which it is calling Auditgate, blatantly exposes what the opposition has been saying all along, that the vice president is incompetent. UK firm IHS Markit had been hired to do the first ever audit of expenses of ExxonMobil and its partners for the period 1999 to 2017. The report of the audit was kept a secret. The Natural Resources Ministry and the ExxonMobil company reportedly tried to cut the figure put forward by the Ghana Revenue Authority, but the GRA said the audit was closed.
Internationally,
news coming out of Niger today is that President Emmanuel Macron has announced that France will in the country. It will remove its 1,500 troops stationed there by the end of this year. In a televised interview, Macron announced plans to withdraw the French ambassador and several other diplomats from Niger within hours, followed by its military contingent in the coming months. It comes in the wake of a military coup in July that saw the ousting of the country's elected president. Mr. Macron has refused to recognise the junta as Niger's legitimate authority, but said that Paris would coordinate the troop withdrawal with the coup leaders.
La France a décidé de ramener son ambassadeur.
France has decided to bring back its ambassador, and so in the coming hours, our ambassador with several diplomats will return to France. And we are ending our military cooperation with the de facto authorities of Niger because they no longer want to fight against terrorism.
James Barnett is a senior fellow at the conservative think tank, the Hudson Institute, and explained why he believes that this is a win for the military authorities.
The junta, for the past 2 months, there's been this kind of very tense standoff between France and the de facto authorities in Niger. And the junta has essentially been, playing hardball against France, which has been insisting that President Bazoum be reinstated. The French have kind of not taken the military option off the table. And so as long as there were French forces within Niger, as long as the French were insisting that their ambassador should remain within Niger, there was kind of this question mark surrounding the whole situation of might there be a French military intervention or a French-supported West African military intervention via the ECOWAS regional bloc. And so now I think essentially France is kind of, admitting, at least for the time being, that, it's kind of lost its influence in the region, that it is unable to alter the political dynamics in the country, that is unable to achieve its objective, which is to reinstate the democratically elected president. My guess is that now, there's going to be some sort of discussion about whether Bazoum can exit the country with his family, that he can get exiled somewhere out of the country, because of course, so long as he's in the country, the junta is going to use him as a bargaining chip.
James Barnett there from the Hudson Institute.
16 officials have been arrested as part of the investigation in Libya into the flood disaster which killed thousands after 2 dams broke. Clean-up operations are continuing after hundreds of bodies washed up on the shores and the days after the devastating floods. An international conference is planned for next month to aid reconstruction efforts. Well, Ali Hashim joins us live now from Tripoli to give us the latest on these developments. And as we mentioned, there are a number of officials arrested due to the dam collapse. Who are they and what have they been charged with?
Yes, actually, several officials were ordered to be arrested by the Prosecutor General here in Libya. According to the Prosecutor General, these officials are accused of negligence, mismanagement. Amongst them is the head of the municipality in Derna, the former and current Minister of Water Resources in Libya. Now, the Prosecutor General said that there were lapses, there were cracks in this dam since 1998, but later on there were some contracts given to Turkish companies in order to fix the dams and maintain them. But after the 2011 revolution, nothing happened, and it was the officials that didn't even think of revising these decisions or these maintenance contracts in order to prevent this disaster from happening. And now we have these 16 officials detained, and they are going to be tried according to the Prosecutor General's statement.
And Ali, we know that there's an international conference planned for next month. What is the latest in regards to getting aid into the worst hit areas?
Well, today we had a chat with one of the officials in the Eastern government. They don't really expect much governments to participate in this conference, given the fact that the government in the West, the one in Tripoli here, is the one that's internationally recognized. However, they believe that there are some countries who enjoy some good relations with the Eastern administrations, for example, the UAE, Egypt, along with several other companies, multinational companies that might be interested in investing in this situation, or at least helping in the rebuilding of Derna. What we also understood is that the the government here in Tripoli, the internationally recognized government headed by Abdelhamid Dbeiba, is trying also to draw some donations from countries around the world. Now, how things are going to be organized, given the complexities of politics, this is actually a big question here in Libya, especially that this rebuilding process is going to involve several entities within the country and also several organizations outside. For example, the Prime Minister invited the World Bank to oversee this process. However, there are a lot of criticism regarding this invitation, given the fact that Libya is a sovereign state and it needs to take care of its own project. This is what the critics are saying.
Okay, thank you so much. That is Ali Hashim for us in Tripoli.
That was the WINNFM Headline News. The Headline News was brought to you by Caribbean Alliance, KDP Enterprises, The Grange, and Carib Brewery.
When it comes to the important things in life, your health, your education, your choice of a life partner, and of course your insurance provider, only the best will do. Caribbean Alliance Insurance is the only insurance company in the Eastern Caribbean with an A excellent rating. We have a robust 3-tier reinsurance strategy that protects our policyholders from multiple catastrophes, even if they occur in quick succession. We spread our risks over 18 territories, ensuring minimal impact to individual territories when a disaster strikes. We provide an excellent claims experience. Claim settlement is usually between 24 to 48 hours. Our A excellent rating means that you are more secure with us. Contact us for motor, property, marine, public liability, employer's liability, and other policies. Dalil Walwyn, people you can trust. Local agent for Caribbean Alliance Insurance. Tomorrow secured. Did you know that the Grange Healthcare Facility is the first purpose-built, non-governmental healthcare organization on St. Kitts? It's situated at Otley's, 7 miles east of Basseterre in beautifully landscaped surroundings. The Grange has a team of highly trained professionals and provides care that's rated as being comparable with UK and North American standards. The Grange offers varied accommodations to suit your individual needs, and our all-inclusive packages make the cost of care per hour the most competitive on the island. Services include convalescent care for all ages, daycare facilities for older adults, rehabilitation services, and training and continuing education for healthcare providers. For more information, call 466-5525 or 465-8020. Fax 466-8221 or email thegrangehealth@gmail.com or visit our website at www.grangehealthcarefacility.com.
Maybe it's the way the brilliant gold liquid reflects our sunshine, or how the bright blue of its label mirrors the clear Caribbean skies overhead. Maybe it's the fresh, crisp taste of this beastly cold beer on a scorching hot day. Maybe it's even the way it brings us all together. But one thing is for sure, Carib is very much a part of who we are wherever we're from in the Caribbean. Carib, it's the way we play. Drink responsibly.
Shipping your cargo shouldn't be a hassle. It can be as easy as a single call to Amerijet International, your worldwide cargo transportation solution. We provide all the services you need to ship your goods anywhere in the world, whether your shipment is fresh, frozen, large or small, alive or hazardous. You can count on Amerijet to deliver it safe and sound. Amerijet International, by land, sea or air, we get it there. For more information, visit us online at www.amerijet.com or call us at KDP Enterprises at 466-9595.
WINN is 98.9. 98.9 is WIN FM.
Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is again giving away hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back for free groceries with every hire purchase. We'll be giving back this coupon season. Happening now. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash back coupon to all our hire purchase customers this coupon season. Starting now until December 2023. You get absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase at our Horseman's Furniture and Appliances stores on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. So riddle this. Where can you get quality furniture and appliances at great prices with a flexible FlexPlay plan and with absolutely free groceries with every hire purchase? Riddle that. Cashback at Horseman's Furniture and Appliances on St. Kitts Nevis and our Ashley Home Store on St. Kitts. Riddle this, riddle that. Horseman's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store is giving you over $250,000 in cashback and a chance to win free groceries for a year. Riddle that cashback. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
I want to say good afternoon to our viewers and listeners around the globe. Okay, and welcome back to the second half of today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates in the hot chair today, and I've got some very important persons with me in the studio. First, I'd like to say hello to Vernon Springer. He's a manager of Point Radio in Antigua. On Thursday afternoon, there'll be a Zoom link-up where they're paying tribute to the Monarch, King Short Shirt. I'm told that Elimat will also be on the program, so you guys will be, well, via Zoom to speak about his journey of the Monarch and giving kudos to him, etc. So that's Thursday afternoon. It's going to be on Point FM in Antigua, but I'm just saying salutations to Mr. Vernon Springer. And he's big. He's got about 3 radio stations and TV and this and that and that. Kudos to Vernon. Cool? All right. Now, we have been joined by other members of the Wharton family. The person of a male model. He looks something like me. I don't want to call him mini-me. It's more massive. This guy is well accomplished. What are you smiling for?
Because what's interesting is that there is that connection in that you do actually have similar features. You both have done modelling, so your complexion, your level of melanin is perfect. You're both sporting white, perfect beards and moustaches, so it is actually quite fitting and quite interesting.
I was in the market for agent. You've just been hired.
I've just been hired.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. I can multitask. I was thinking of being his agent as well, but he seems to have gone on without me. But
On
that's
his own.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be your agent.
Well, okay.
So yeah.
Peter Williams over there in Guyana enjoying cricket. Bag of sugar, of course. No, Chris Collins, of course. We gotta get you connected to Chris Collins in Sheffield. He's a good guy to know, and I know he's gonna love your energy and your program. But he's the Vibes FM, and again, he says that Sheffield is the best place in the UK to live. You guys can speak to that.
Do you know, interestingly, in Sheffield, they have, I think it's called Spittal Hill, which is probably the only place where there's a huge amount of black people living there.
It's called what?
I think it's called Spittal Hill or something like that. Okay. I toured when I was doing some touring. Junior, you might remember, we toured in Sheffield, and there was an area where they said there was a concentrated amount. So maybe that's where Chris lives. Maybe Chris can let me know about that.
So we're going to give a little drum roll and introduce. I'm going to have you make the introductions because I'm slow with the name, right?
Okay.
And here we go.
Okay, so this is the drum roll. Before I do that very quickly, though, I do want to say that the next guest, or one of the next guests, is connected with the Your Digital Network, which is part of the radio station that I mentioned earlier. And so I want to send shouts out to Sheeda, who's tuned in, also to Amja, and they're part of the All Digital Network, and they're tuning in from the UK. So our next guest, who happens to be my friend, first of all, my friend, secondly, my colleague, and thirdly, and probably more importantly, my brother-in-law, and he goes by the name of Rudy Harding. So Rudy is here with my sister, Anita, my little sister, she's here also. So welcome to Voices. And Rudy, welcome to St. Kitts and Nevis for the first time.
Good afternoon. Great to be here.
So that's the introduction.
Okay, and we had a drum roll, and they're lovely.
I've also done Anita, who's my younger sister, who's Rudy's partner.
Okay.
So there you go. Drum roll number two.
I heard him say good afternoon. What I'm seeing over there is just teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Good afternoon.
Because it's morning.
Actually, it's good morning.
It's good morning.
It's good afternoon.
It is afternoon now.
Is it afternoon?
It is afternoon.
Yeah, it is
right.
afternoon.
It's 12:28 by my clock.
Oh, my clock's gone off.
So what time is it back home?
It's 12:20, so it's after 5.
It's in the evening, so it's good evening.
So good afternoon back in London.
Good evening, I think. That's
Okay, well, welcome to the studios of WINNFM, Mr. Male Model, 5, okay. And you've been here for the past 10 days, roughly. Is it that long or just over a week?
We came in on Saturday last week.
Saturday last week. So this being your first time in St. Kitts, I did ask Blaze this morning about, you said, okay, tourist paradise is normally perceived as a native hell. So you are here for the first time as a tourist. I would ask your perspective. Blaze covered quite a bit of it, but you had an experience when we toured. We went up to the fortress. We went up to the museum, and something that I pointed out to you that you read, and you had questions about. I too troubled by it. We'll talk about that, but it's one reason that you're here, and your lovely wife. Also, welcome to the studio, WINNFM.
Thank you very much.
I would like to hear you said you're not saying anything, but I'm going to pick on you at some point in time. So. We're here until roughly 1:30, and we're going to cover the time as best we can. We're going to keep the lines open for contributions for the public. So during any time during our presentation, we're going to call, we take them, and you could probably answer. Anyone you can, answer the program because you're part of this, right?
Sure.
So on a tour to the fortress, that's Brimstone Hill National Park, was it last Wednesday? I don't even remember. You had questions. And you have a picture of something that was printed there that you want to talk about, and let's get into it if you can.
Yeah, I mean the tour. I mean, firstly, thank you for taking us on that tour. It's very enlightening, bit shocking at some stages. I mean, I come from a military background back in the UK. So I'm familiar with some of the strategy you was talking about the fighting and how the British lost it and how the French recovered, that sort of strategy.
A siege and all that?
Siege and all that, yeah, to some degrees, because it's all tactics and strategy. But what touched me is when we visited the internal fortress.
The museum level up at the top.
Yes. When you pointed out certain key areas like where the gunpowder was stored and the various cannons and how the water collection. And then then we went into one of the side rooms. And this is where I pause to recollect what people of St. Kitts and Nevis actually trying to portray outwards. And there's this particular thing I'm referring to was a note on the wall, which basically said that the slaves who built the fortress came to work.
Voluntarily.
Yeah, voluntarily. To me, that was not voluntary work or came to work. That was enslavement. Any enslavement is not work. As I know, work is for payment. They didn't get payment. And I asked you about it because you initially pointed out, because there's lots of things in that area, lots of placards, messages and information, pictures. And you said to me, which I thought very shocking, to be fair, it's done for the tourists. For me, we are then sending people of St. Kitts and Nevis, you are sending out a message to the wider community outside the tourism.
Misrepresenting our true history.
Correct. And almost making it, from my point of view and how I rationalize it, you're making it sound like the people, or ancestors, I don't say people, our ancestors who built that fortress went to work quite happily. It's almost like one of those 50s...
Based on the depiction.
Yeah.
You know, graphic depictions.
Yeah, it sounds like almost like one of those cartoons that we used to watch back in the 50s, where the black slave was going to work whistling happily. You know, it was not. They was beaten, shot if they didn't carry out their duties or work. And to pass on that message to the wider community outside the US, UK, whoever visits that fortress, that they went happily to work, almost tells that outside community that we weren't enslaved, we was happily working. It's wrong. And the reason why I said it's wrong as well, so bear with me for a minute. Well, the reason why I say it's wrong, St. Kitts and Nevis, you now hold the power of this country. You're independent. Change that image, change that text on the wall to reflect rightly what was done. People were slaved, they was beaten to the point of death, if not death, to build that fort. They didn't go willingly. And I think
that depiction is wrong. It's
correct.
Misrepresented
all day long.
truth.
All day long.
Okay, let's look at a bit of context. Emancipation was declared in 1834, the 1st of August, which was a Monday, 1834. So for many years we celebrated August Monday. Didn't know what we were actually celebrating. So only in the past 20 years we really acknowledged it was actually Emancipation Day and not August Monday. Even this year, we had a celebration of August Monday and not Emancipation Day. The actual day was just mentioned, but they had celebrations after on the first Monday in August because that was a tradition. The first Monday in August 1834, the first day, August 1st, was a Monday. So traditionally, they celebrate the first Monday in August. I'm saying acknowledge the day itself. So in 1834, that is when we were granted a certain measure of freedom. They started construction at the fortress in 1690. So this wasn't something that took place after emancipation where people volunteered. In 1690,
enslavement.
The British, in the attempt to defeat the French at Fort Charles, because the British had built Fort Charles along the coast. It was funded by King Charles. And so it's called Charles Fort, right? The French routed them from there because it was on the coast. And they went on the higher elevation, positioned some guns there so they could train the guns down on Fort Charles and defeated them, being victorious in this battle and realizing the strategic value of the hilltop. They continued then
the high ground.
Look at the terrain. Look at the terrain. Most of the material in terms of the stone were large boulder. They had to break them down, cut them to shape and size, and start that construction. 104 years of slave labor. There was no volunteerism.
No, also the amazing thing I found as well, there was 2 levels, the officers' quarters area and the lower level.
Mm-hmm.
Those areas are as level as a football pitch.
Yeah.
To get that to that degree of level, that is a lot of hard
The
slave
main
labor.
parade ground, where we now park.
Yeah, that is a lot of hard work.
I
to
never
get
look at it that way, but you're correct.
Yeah. If it rained, water was a standstill on it because there's no levels. It's just flat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I think a lot of the locals here need to visit that.
We don't really appreciate it. It's there, Brimstone Hill. And I tell you, a lot of folks on St. Kitts and Nevis have never been there. They don't feel the significance of it. And we go there and we have celebrated, we have parties and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Not really taking in the enormity of what it took. I'm saying 104 years of enforced slave labor. There are people who lived and died there in...
the blood of the ancestors are there, and probably the bones and the skulls and everything is there.
There is a cemetery where the officers, they were buried there. A lot of them died from rum poison. They call it yellow fever. But you have no accounting or any way you can say, well, the enslaved, and I use the word enslaved, we weren't slaves. We're enslaved people, cultured, sophisticated. But it served their purpose to denigrate us, so we have no culture, we were. And so there's no way you can say, well, they enslaved, this is the burial ground. So that depiction of that they went voluntarily and there was a grant here is nonsense.
I think the thing that's profound at this time, every time I come here, I do go there. And every time I'm there, I think I mentioned this here last time, I feel the sense of having been there before. I think what's quite profound for Rudy's perspective is that he has been somebody who's been in the military, and so he'll have a different perspective just anyway about what that whole fortress is about. But if I may, when I was there this time, I was inspired by a poem by Vera Bell written in 1906. Can I do that poem?
Please.
Okay, so the poem is entitled Ancestors on the Auction Block. Ancestors on the auction block. Across the years your eyes seek mine, compelling me to look. I see your shackled feet, your primitive black face. I see your humiliation and turn away ashamed. Across the years your eyes seek mine, compelling me to look. Is this mean creature that I see myself ashamed to look? Because of myself ashamed, shackled by my own ignorance, I stand a slave. Humiliated I cry to eternal abyss for understanding ancestors on the auction block. Across the years your eyes meet mine. Electric, I am transformed. My freedom is within myself. I look you in the eyes and I see the Spirit of God eternal. Of the only need I be ashamed of blindness to the God within me, the same God who dwelt within you, the same eternal God who shall dwell in generations yet unborn. Ancestors on the auction block, across the years I look. I see you sweating, toiling, suffering within your loins. I see the seed of multitude from your labour. Grow roads, adequate cultivation, a new country is born. Yours was the task to clear the ground, and mine be the task to build. That's by Vera Bell. She wrote that in 1906. And I think when what inspired that was just that, what Reedy was talking about. We were just overwhelmed by the amount of years. The 104 years. I just kept hearing that going over and over, and I had to kind of confirm, and I also heard Reedy saying it. But when we look at the magnitude, I mean, it nearly killed me to get up the stairs. 27
steps.
27 stairs. I literally had to be helped up by my son, which in itself was powerful because Rudy captured my son taking me up those stairs. And part of that was like emotion. It was just an emotional thing that our slave labour went into that.
For over 100 years.
104.
Well, we're told it's British. It was built by the British.
Well, it goes back to what I said regarding that piece. I think it's happening in the UK. A lot of history.
I need to inform you, as handsome as you are, you're on camera. You can't turn it back to the camera. I need to see you.
Yeah, so I didn't realize we got a camera here. Yeah, it's happening in the UK where certain areas of the history, especially black history, has not been taught properly or correctly. And it's now being rewritten. And that's in the UK where predominantly it's a white country. So the point I'm making here, St. Kitts and Nevis, it's a black country, black-owned country. Look at your history. Examine your history. Tell the world the truth about
our history.
Tell the world the truth about your history, not what the white man written. And don't write your history to give the wrong information to the visitors of this island that think slavery was okay.
One of the things I mentioned a while ago was I want to get a visitor perspective. I can sense the passion in what you would observe, what you take objection to, and it's very important to get it from you. All right? Before I come to the lovely, I want to read what Chris Collins responded, right?
Oh, hey, Chris.
And he said, boy, they play you close with the start of the show. I guess we got close. President the King, and we're referring to the roads now in the UK. The roads up north are decent. She must be in a part of London where the council don't care.
I think he's right. I think you're right,
Most
Chris.
of the council don't care in London, so he's right.
Spit Hill, that's where we collected the goat water.
Oh.
He had sent me, well, he had me come down for his birthday from London, celebrate his birthday, and we went around to people collecting, we do it, goat water here, this and that. So I remember the area now. Now that you mention it, he's saying, yes, Spit Hill, that's where we collected the goat water. Okay. I will, on the outskirts, nice, quiet area, I live on the outskirts because he said that Sheffield is the best place in the UK to live.
I don't know, Chris, have you been to London?
And if so, what
Chris,
part of London?
Chris, you need to come to London. Never mind, some of the roads are a bit mashed up, but you need to come to London, then we can really exchange. But I did tour in Sheffield, and I do remember Spittle Hill. So thank you for your contribution.
Okay, so Rudy, I want to thank you for that conversation, because sometimes a lot of us who are tour guides go to the fort, we don't really go up there into rooms. We just direct the tourists up there. Because we are, as ambassadors, and they're tour guides who will tell you, based on who they're driving, the color of the story. We get to the point and you say, the British, the British, no, I meant the French. The color of the story because they want to get the tip.
Yeah, I mean, if I can interject.
Let's take this call and see what they have to contribute. Good day, call you live on Voices.
Socrates.
Good day, sir. Lovely hearing your voice again.
Yes, and let me say good afternoon to you and your panel and your listeners.
Appreciate it.
Earlier, before lunch, you may talk about grape.
Yes, the sea grapes.
What then grape? The seaside grape you talk?
That is correct.
I used to sell them and get sale.
And get what? Yes, because everybody, we were kids. And we took the sea grapes that Kai picked yesterday. We take a leaf, and that would make like a measure, like a funny, okay, you know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. And we sold them for like a dime. And we used that money to buy our school books and school supplies. Wow. It was a very, very popular thing. About 10 days ago, I bought some from a young lady. She was about 16, and it says, we used to sell these to buy a school book. She says, that's what I'm buying.
Oh.
Just to say that you're amazing. You're amazing.
Similarities?
Yeah, because you wouldn't get no sale up here.
You must that. Why is that?
You wouldn't. But then, the matter of fact, right now, the birds and them enjoy them even more than human right now.
Okay.
I got them pigeon, white pigeon. The mother kind of got the bluish black color.
Not as popular as before. But yes, we do.
Yeah, because even right now, just the other day, you know, as the old folks, they said that the old people don't even introduce the young children even to them.
Yeah, migration interrupted that too.
Yeah, so then just they and now and again you just pass, you just pull off a couple in your hand, just turn your mouth and anyway, let me move on to something else. The lady, she bring back his son or just she alone?
Family, there were 8 of them, her son included.
But my son's not here. I haven't brought him back to the show
Not on
today.
the radio, but I'm just saying kids.
Okay, yeah. So she may talk about the nice road, them the sing it.
Yes.
I talk about the one?
Nice roads in
Socrates. Oh, yeah.
Socrates, no, let me get too political now, but...
It's called Voices.
Then Rose, they done under who?
Timothy,
Team
the
Unity?
former Team Unity, that's correct.
Okay, tell people let them not cut off my head. So she come at the time of.
Yeah, good word.
Socrates, let me get off with the radio before I get my head cut off. Okay then.
Thank you for your contribution. Okay, we're gonna go to the lady with the most beautiful smile at the moment. So, want to get your perspective on your visit. Is it the first time?
No, my first time back in St. Kitts was in 1986.
Chris Collins, yes, go right ahead.
When I came back with my father. And I, like my sister Patricia, I've also been to Brimstone Hill many times.
Many times. Oh, you mentioned that as a kid, way back.
And Patsy feels that she...
Okay, let's take this call in the meantime. You'll get back to your caller. You are live on Voices.
Greetings, King Son.
With respect.
Greetings to your guests. Yeah.
Go ahead.
know, sir, we never listen to the reason a while ago about the grapes. Yeah, man, them grapes was lifesavers, you know.
Definitely.
Not as my virgin just said, but with selling in the funnel.
Yes.
Remember the top of Tibu Avenue? Yeah? But selling bumper, you know, we call it bumper too, the cane cut up.
Yes, of course.
Selling grapes and making sure that the money they're going to schooling, you know?
Yes.
I guess Mount Shot people had a better income
source?
Income standard than we at them time there. Yeah? So they didn't have to resort to them things. But we do that, you know. Yeah, welcome to your guests. Even if it's not the first time, welcome forward and keep coming, because you don't know the tropical sinkings and news is different too. Them land of ice there, you know. Canada is a real land of ice. We've never been to London. We had opportunities and never been to the UK. Had a few opportunities and we didn't take it up. But give thanks. My son got his British passport to his grandfather from Mountshot, and he just came in from London.
Okay.
So he did it for me. But I'm looking forward in my old age. I'm looking forward to know those places, because we hear so much thing about them places there. Sometimes we are see it even though we don't go there. But you know, traveling is a wonderful thing. It widens your knowledge. It makes you become a humble person.
Absolutely.
And meeting people when you travel, that is like a priceless gift to meet people and converse with people in different lands, you know.
It broadens your perspective of life, really.
Welcome. Keep coming and bring more people when you come, yeah?
Definitely.
Okay. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eli X. Thank you for that.
Just to respond to the gentleman who just called in. I would say to him, when you get the opportunity to visit London.
Okay.
What I find, what I didn't say earlier on, I'm from Barbados.
It was mentioned in passing by Paz, so I gathered that.
What in passing? No less.
Yeah. Let's go back to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Yeah, Socrates.
Speaking.
Yeah, me just say that he amazing because we go to Antigua. Well, me spend most of my life in Antigua.
Okay.
And what we call locust here, or stinking toe.
Locust, stinking toe. Same thing, locust, stinking toe.
Yeah. Me see.
You get what we're talking about?
In Antigua put them a heap, and people buy them.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's good for ulcers.
Me go to come back a month shot and think, cause you wouldn't get no sale, you wouldn't get that kind of sale down here.
It must trust. I see.
Yeah, you're not getting that kind of sale in a month shot. I mean, kids take them up. Well, see me start to join the new way to talk about kids. Children take them up. and just broke, fire broke them up.
Mm-hmm.
Now and again you push one of your mouth. I mean, when you're little, that used to be like a food for
a treat. Yes.
You get what I say? And that gonna make you drink plenty water now, cause
sweet.
It's sweet and dry and flowery.
Here's what. My guests don't have any idea what you're talking about. So why did they call it stinking toe?
I want just make it easier for your guests.
Mm-hmm.
If on the net, just look them up.
Google it.
Okay.
Locust,
stinking toe.
Yeah. You just Google them and you get all your answer right there.
Got you
That's
covered.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Much appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
It's stink.
Yeah, so I mean, I just like different cultures, like do different things, and we got the same thing, but
it is
they
called
just
the
do different
same.
things.
Locust.
Because when somebody from British Virgin Island, the Tartola,
yeah,
so that then cook sugar apple.
Okay.
I mean, say what? You get what I say?
Yeah.
And then later on, I will just eat up the mango here, but then you take mango now and make chutney and
Indians,
so just different culture,
Indians.
different. Yeah. Okay then.
Much appreciated. Now the locust.
I found it.
You found it? It's about you have a picture of it there?
I do have a photo and the definition. So shouts out to Marika, who's tuning in from London. Her mother is the half local and her father is Al, so shouts out to her. So it says here, stinking toe fruit, the fruit of the West Indian locust tree, is what it says it is. And it looks, I don't know, it's a bit like a cocoa or like kind of like a shell.
About 3 to 4 inches long. Very, very hard shell. And you crack it open and there's this velvety looking thing inside. Maybe some seeds in it.
But they said it smells like foot odour.
Oh, stink.
So that's why it's called stinking toe.
Interesting. But it's wonderful for your health. It helps to, they say it's good for like stomach ulcers and all that. But the tree is big and tall and thick. If you're calling to talk about locust, you're on.
Yeah, man, talking about locust, apart from the ulcer, it is a good nerves food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yes,
Can you hear us clearly?
You said it's a good nerve food.
It's a good nerve food, yeah.
It's a good nerve food. You see, if you take about a dozen of them things there, crack them out, throw them in some nice waters, remove the seeds, and make the best custard in the world, and make a juice from that, and drink that juice. You can go for nights without, if you have to stay up, you can go for nights without sleeping.
Okay.
People who do security work in the night, will consume that,
So it's a natural power drink then, is it? Natural energy drink.
Along with sauce.
But can I ask you, does the smell go? Once you've cooked it, does that stinking toe smell go?
Beg pardon?
Once the smell that they're referring to, which is why it's called stinking toe, once you've cooked it or boiled it, does it go? Does the smell go?
When you crack it, you get that scent. But don't let the scent turn you off. It's edible, and it's nutritious, and it have all those Those things are just
It
tastes
good.
Ulcer, your nerves. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful food. Wonderful. And thanks for talking about these things. I'm in the virgin. You're making no more water there, you know. Lord have mercy, you put me back to the days when the monkeys in used to eat off everything. Then we have to go mountain, go make sure. Sometimes food home, you know. Can't do our own mama cooking, but when we reach home, I tell you, we eat mama food just because, well, mama food we eat, but the belly done full of a cane from the coffee shop, done full of fat pork, stinking pork, muck. Lord, fat pork. You hear about fat pork?
We played the fat pork show a while ago.
Like 5 minutes.
Hey, my mouth start walking and me come out the phone. Blessed love.
Gotcha.
Blessed love.
Blessed love.
Talk to us.
So, yes, we were talking about going up to Brimstone Hill. As Blaze says, she feels like she's been there before. I've been there many times. For me, I kind of get more irate than anything else. Because it's almost like, as you're climbing those stairs, and it's now a tourist attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So, our slaved or enslaved people is now a tourist attraction. Wow.
Tourism is the number one foreign revenue earner for St. Kitts and Nevis.
Absolutely, I totally
and we have to
understand
highlight, but according to your husband, we must reflect the true history of our contribution.
For sure.
We are a resilient people, and sometimes we look back on a negative past, but we have to look at the positive.
Absolutely, you've got to draw positive out of it.
Give credit to our ancestors for what they went through, the sacrifices they made, so that we today can live comfortably. What we enjoy today was not given to us.
No.
I mentioned the sacrifices of to a certain overture, the Haitian 1791 revolution lasted 11 years. Defeated all the armies of Europe, kicked out the Americans,
that's right,
and established in the region the first black, free, independent nation in the Western Hemisphere. And today, Haitians are seeking refuge because of what's happening there. I mean, you know, them Haitians, run them back, this and that. We don't appreciate our history. So your husband is right. We have to tell our history in the light, explain to them why Haitians was labeled as devil worshippers, because they couldn't explain why Haitians were able to defeat the armies of America, France, and England. Oh, they work voodoo.
Well, it's unexplainable to them. So anything unexplainable to them is wicked.
They told us on the plantations, shun the Haitians. Shun the Haitians.
Divide and conquer.
That brainwashing still exists today.
Absolutely.
If we hear about Haitians seeking refuge here last week, etc., they think, oh, we can't take them back, send them back. We look at our people drowning in the Mediterranean, fleeing Africa because of the atrocities perpetrated on Africa by the same Europeans.
We don't get it.
You know,
we won't
so
learn.
You're right. We must embrace our history, value it, and use it not as stepping stone, but as learning. We have to learn and teach our young ones who we are. We are powerful people. We have overcome so much more that other races have not.
Can I ask you?
The Native American Indian, almost extinct.
Absolutely.
Almost. It's a sad trail of blood, trail of tears, etc. But we hear.
Which then, there's no response to it as far as they're concerned. We know it's happened, and it's almost like the culprit, shall we say, yeah, it's happened, and we allow that to happen. I wanted to ask you, is there the schools, do they have school trips up to Brimstone Hill?
Yes.
So that
yes.
that same doctrine of level of teaching is then passed down to our children. So our children are reading that these enslaved people whistled, as I said to you when we were up there, what did they whistle while they work? You know?
Okay. Take the call, please. Good day, caller. You live on Voices.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Hazel Ross Robinson, and I would like to commend your guests for the degree of intelligence, self-awareness, sensitivity, respect for our enslaved ancestors, and respect for ourselves that was so apparent in everything that they said. It is my desire and my hope and my dream that the teachers of this country, the people of influence in this country, will ensure that Brimstone Hill is understood the way that your guests described it. I have been to Brimstone Hill many times, and like them, I have been keenly aware of what it took. There were no bulldozers, there were no jackhammers, there were no cranes. Look at those walls, look at the cliffs, and try to figure out how many people must have plummeted to their death trying to build that place. And so whenever I've been to Brimstone Hill, I've felt a deep sense of reverence for those who came before. But I must say one thing. I was not aware that there was any plaque at Brimstone Hill suggesting that the people who built Brimstone Hill, the Africans who built Brimstone Hill, did so voluntarily. If that is true, that must be removed immediately, without a moment's hesitation, because if that remains there, it would constitute a terrible betrayal of our ancestors by us, and it would also show a great deal of disrespect for ourselves, a lack of respect for ourselves. Let me say in closing that I know that some people are concerned about offending the tourists. Nobody wants to offend the tourists. Tourism is an important income generator in this economy. But it is a fact that the Holocaust was a reality in Germany. Auschwitz concentration camp exists today, and people go there.
That's right.
And they explain the atrocities that took place there. And they do that because they have respect for the Jews.
Correct.
And because they regret that chapter. And we need to adopt the same attitude. We must not quiver, we must not grin, we must not change the history. No, we're all adults. We're not blaming the current day tourists. We're simply sharing our history
and tell the
and
truth.
also letting them know how far we've come, because the descendants of those enslaved people have stood up and created a wonderful country in their memory. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so very much. I'm going to give you some information about the caller and the work of her husband, and I would ask you to research him. Randolph Robinson, he was a professor who taught, well, in his latter years, he taught from St. Kitts. But he's written a book called, well, many books. One is called Quitting America. The other is The Unbroken Agony, speaking about the atrocities of Haiti. He was actually there with Aristide. He was actually instrumental in freeing Mandela.
Wow.
He was actually, he had gone to Haiti when Aristide was taken out and traveled with him and make sure he was reinstated. That's the late husband. He passed a few months ago. Very powerful person, tall, distinguished looking. That people don't know the enormity of his work. So I'm going to give you links to his page, and you please follow him.
Yeah,
right?
do.
Okay. If I may read a bit of what we're talking about in terms of what's presented up at the Women Museum. It says one, and there were many, it says, in the early days of the building and development of the fortress, plantation slaves came to work.
Like there was an option.
They came to work at Brimstone Hill as grants the mandates from the owners. Grants of slaves were not popular with the owners, directive, blah, 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 blah. But we came to work.
That wasn't work.
Well, you came to work.
But you didn't have it's not optional. It was mandatory. And
the depiction, this is what's written, but the depictions
of them smiling.
They're smiling and,
Oh, I'm going to work today. It's great. I think that was just, it's very disrespectful. I find it a total insult. And now I feel even worse knowing that the next generation is going up there on a field trip. And that's what they're being fed.
We're going to take a pause at the moment to give credit to sponsors. We have Jamster to thank for being with us today, doing a wonderful job. And if I look back in time, you guys can continue. You're immensely equipped to continue without moi.
I think...
what are you going to pause for?
Oh, you pause? Okay.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Are you ready for a transformation in your living space? Look no further than Horswood's Furniture and Appliances, your ultimate destination for easy living, easy saving. Get ready to experience comfort like never before with our living room set sale event. For a limited time, we're offering an incredible 20% off on all cash purchases of living room set store-wide. Yes, you heard that right, 20% off. But wait, there's more. When you choose to go with higher purchase, not only will you get your dream living room set, but you'll also receive double cash back coupons for free groceries. It's a win-win. Upgrade your living space while earning rewards for your kitchen. So mark your calendars and head over to Horswood's Furniture and Appliances today. Experience easy living, easy savings with 20% off on all cash purchases of living room sets store-wide. And remember, double cash back for free groceries on all higher purchase options throughout September. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity. Horswood's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Your home, your style, your saving. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
This is a public service announcement.
Brace yourselves for the ultimate shopping extravaganza that you've been waiting for. Get ready to be blown away because double cashback coupon season has officially landed at Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store. Can you feel the excitement in the air? It's that magical time of year when Horsford's paves the way to your dreams by giving away millions in free groceries with every Flex Pay Higher purchase.
But wait, there's more to this phenomenal offer.
Hold on to your seats because this is your chance to win an entire year of free groceries through the exhilarating double cashback season, double cashback promotion. Wait, did I mention it's double cashback coupon season at Horsford's Furniture and Appliances and Ashley Furniture Home Store? Don't delay, come in today before it's too late and snatch up your double cashback coupons for absolutely free groceries. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
So we are back from that short break. I kind of needed that break actually because the last caller, whose name I didn't catch, literally reduced me to tears because we speak about legacy and we speak about history, and also interestingly somebody made reference to referring to us as children and not kids. We are not kids. Kids are baby goats. We are children, and I really encourage people to use that terminology. We are children. We're not kids. But that I really felt it in the voice of that caller and how she resonated really with what we're saying. And what I find often is that people are afraid to say what really is, and talking about not wanting to offend. There was no thoughts given to not wanting to offend us. With Brimstone Hill, I always have to take it in phases in order for me to really get the true essence of every aspect of that space. I would have to spend days here. So I hadn't been into that particular part of the fortress. And there are some parts that I just find I can't actually delve right into. But that we felt all of that, and we're still trying to, make other people feel comfortable with our discomfort. We try to make other people feel comfortable with our trauma. And our trauma is our trauma, that we should say what it is because it is what it is, and it's the thing that makes us who we are today. So all this gratitude and, well, we kind of want to say this, but we don't want to say that. And have us just skinning our teeth.
On apology.
That's
like,
what we did. Watching one of those old black and white films when they say, "No, sir, Master's been good to me. He gives me sleeps. He gives me food." You're eternally grateful for someone for taking away your liberty and then drip feeding you a bit of life.
And here I thought you were the quiet one. We got a call. We'll take the phone lines. Call or your live on voices.
Greetings forward, Kingston.
Respect, sir.
We want to thank Her Serene Highness. Just like your guest, we want to thank her for calling and speaking her truth to the people.
Lady Robinson?
Yes. If that plaque is not removed, we'll remove it, you know? We'll certainly
It's
do.
not a plaque. It's not a plaque. When you
Whatever
go...
it is.
Okay, but
there,
point taken.
If it is removed, if it is written in stone, if it is not whatever, we'll make sure. We'll make sure it is there no more. I'm letting you know that. Your guest said something. And when she said it just, she said she feel irate. I feel more than irate when I go to that place. Yeah. When we are in that space, the feeling that we get, I'm telling you. You know, though, this tourism thing as it is, I know it's our main money earner, whatever. But this tourism thing as it is causing us to further embrace, in a subtle way, to further embrace mental enslavement.
Quite.
We have seen it, and we have seen it for years. And we look forward to the day when this sector is not on the pinnacle that we have it at this point in time, because it is affecting us big time. It is stopping us from being the people who we ought to be. We have already said and keep echoing, our fertile land is enough to bring in all the monies that we need. We need another. I don't mean that industry, which I'm going to say to the Honorable Minister of Agriculture. We don't need that industry specifically, but we need an industry or industries that is connected to agriculture, that we can live from the same and feed ourselves. Yeah?
Gotcha.
Win-win in terms of our health and wealth, money wealth, that is. Because health is also wealth, that is priceless. Right. So that we can be the black survivors, the black African survivors, because enough was exterminated, but here we are still. Okay. Here we are still, up to the time.
We've got this call on the line, so wrap it up for me, please. Appreciate your... Okay. Are you there? Good.
Yeah, hello?
Good, caller, are you there?
Yeah, good day, man. How you guys doing?
Okay, yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, thanks for you bringing on this guest today, man. Information flowing like the rest of my normally say, you know. Are they just like visiting the Federation?
Yes, they are due to leave this week to go back home. They're Caribbean nationals, but visiting from home, so to speak.
Yeah, thanks for them stopping by, man. I wish them the best and safe travels back.
Thank you so much.
To get them back in St. Kitts and Nevis again and back in the studio.
There you go.
But Socrates, there was a young lady that spoke at the Prime Minister's lecture series.
Yeah,
I wonder if you can let your guests them get a hold of that lecture, man.
Okay. Actually, somebody sent me a WhatsApp a while ago about highlighting that, getting the young lady on if possible, or being able to discuss that speech that she made.
I wish you had get her in the studio, man, before she left, because I know she probably has traveled back to where she came from. You know,
we can do a Zoom thing, but I'm gonna try to make connections so I can get the information up there.
Yeah, just to let you know, man, go easy on her, man. That's my second cousin, all right?
Okay, you got claim to fame. All right.
Yeah, but good information today, man. But the guy Journey, he been pushing this African narrative, And you know, me myself,
He has been
man,
pushing our narrative. It's not the African narrative. It's our narrative.
Okay, that's a great correction. I accept that.
Much appreciated.
And then that's where I'm going. I wanted to go with my questions or my comments to your guests. You know, how they feel about like persons in St. Kitts and Nevis in the Caribbean. We're not like embracing our culture, our African oneness. Like, you know, we have people saying that we're Kittitians and Tegans and
labels,
such.
yes.
Yeah, and you know, along that line, man, and the history. At one point, we wanted to get a change in the history. You know, when they had that George Floyd movement in America, you know, Christopher Columbus got his beating, it seems like, you know, because they was pulling down his statues like crazy. And it created a vibe where people start looking at the history, you know what I mean? And the awareness is there, but people just, I feel like people just don't really want to embrace it. You know, we were taught a certain way in school. And, you know, a lot of stuff is coming out to be false narratives, in my opinion, you know what I mean? If we want to talk about religion and other stuff, you know, but a lot of things are just being like their story, you know what I mean? And in the school system in St. Kitts and Nevis, they said that they're going to start teaching the kids Spanish, and they have already started teaching them Mandarin.
Mandarin, nothing African.
But nothing African, and I can't see why nothing African, bro? I can't see that at all because you know
they're planning your future. That's why
we don't have strong Caribbean leaders, man. The leaders in the Caribbean need to be more stronger in terms of the African continent and bridging that gap. You know, we see what's going on in the continent today, all these uprisings and stuff like that. We weren't able to get it done in Haiti. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You know, we weren't able to get it done in Haiti because we right in the Caribbean wouldn't even lend us helping hand to our own brothers and sisters right next door. But guess what? These same French colonizers and who been ruling Haiti, it's a different story on the continent right now. It's an awakening that's happening on the continent, and it's amazing.
The linkage is there.
What is happening?
The linkage is there. You're so very correct. But I'm gonna have to ask you to wrap it up now because we are running out of time. But thank you very much for that invaluable contribution. Okay. Now, before we start, I need you guys to Google Mr. Randolph Robinson before we go. And for the listener, just Google his work. And number two, if you can, weigh in on what's happening in Uganda. The World Bank has seized the assets of Uganda because they refuse to accept the same-sex marriage. This is global. This is good. I mentioned a song a while ago called The Church Divided. It's about the same thing. But the World Bank has freezed the assets of Uganda because they refuse to accept the same-sex marriage issue. If you can weigh in on that, but you go right ahead. Sorry to interrupt you, but I want to get that up there.
Sorry, was it Randall Robinson you said?
Randolph Robinson.
If I could just come back on the...
that's not him. That's Lucas Jr. Randolph Robinson, that's not him. Somebody else.
If I could just come back on the last caller. Some of the stuff he said, I don't think we've got time to go through it all. I think it would take a generation...
Sorry, try Randall, see what happens. I may have got that wrong.
I think it would take the younger generation to come up and actually make changes along the discussions we're having here. The George Floyd movement, we saw it in the UK. And sometimes it pays to live in a different country to see a different thing and then go somewhere else and see it. I know people might phone in and say, oh, you guys from England, what do you know? I was born in Barbados. I left there when I was 11 years old, lived in the UK for the entire life. I'm now 67 years old. I can go back.
We're in the same page.
Yeah. But I can come to the Caribbean or various islands of the Caribbean. I can see some good things that's done in the UK that can be transposed here. To respond to what the gentleman was saying there, we noticed in London the George Floyd movement, and that changed. It pulled statues down that should not be there. We challenged it, and the young people challenged it, black and white, but predominantly black. Yeah, the same thing can happen here. Those stuff not understand to go to the fort and pull stuff down, but be aware of what's written up. Be aware that some of the stuff there should not be put out to the general public as the norm.
Firstly, they must be aware of their history.
Correct.
We don't teach that in school. You mentioned the fact they're now teaching Mandarin and other languages.
Why?
No, because we are leading towards China.
That's the future. That's the
Right?
future. I have never, the last two
Did you find
times
it?
I've been to St. Kitts, I've never seen so much Chinese people, so much Asian people. Those things that before
It's global.
It's global for sure.
And they replace a lot of what we call the mom and pop shops in
Yes.
St. Kitts.
Yeah. So now they're preparing you that there's more coming. So learn their language. That's what they're telling you. Not our language. You're not saying learn.
They don't have to learn ours.
They're not saying learn Yoruba.
No,
Or any of the many other African languages there are. Mandarin. They don't even teach that in
Is there a reason
England.
why I asked you guys to come back on today?
Pardon?
Was there a reason why I asked you guys to come back on today? Okay.
It's weird how things turn out, isn't it? But Mandarin is one of the most spoken languages across the world, by the way.
I didn't know that.
It is.
Spanish.
Even outside of Asia, it's one of the most spoken languages. So I can get why they're teaching it, but out of all the languages, think of the diaspora we're in and all the islands around here. They're not teaching you patois for you to go to Guadeloupe or Dominica, even French then. They've gone way over, because that's the destination. That's the ultimate plan. They've just fed you this little seed now. Teach that
Imperative.
to your children.
But I think this island, we need to think it never. You need to stand up, be confident, be confident and bold of your island and the strength that you have here, and make the changes for your people.
The Rastafarian community have done a wonderful job.
You mentioned that on a trip, didn't you?
Yes. Trying to educate our people in terms of your health, how you must live, what you must reject in terms of religion that we're fed. So the Sunday school we talk about, that Sunday school that we still say our kids must go through has been detrimental in terms of the indoctrination.
Absolutely, that's where
In
it
a
starts.
world where we now see the need to re-educate yourself, when you look back, and some people spoke about going to Sundays to church 5 times in the day. Early mass, that Sunday school, etc. That's a massive indoctrination. But because of our orientation, you shouldn't say that.
That's
you shouldn't
blasphemous.
question your Christianity. Let's take this call. Call your live on voices.
Thanks for taking the call, my brother. Correction, please. Rastafari. You see, they carry the name of him. You know.
What did I say?
Please, not Farian, because Farian have ism to it, you know. So please address us as Rastafari.
I stand.
That is His Majesty's name.
I stand corrected.
It is Rastafari.
I stand
Which
corrected.
Ethiopian we say Rastafari, you know. So we don't really appreciate the Farian to it.
I appreciate love it.
Or the isms.
With thanks.
I appreciate love it. That's Ras Eli X, Elder X, as some call it.
No. And indeed, the name of His Majesty from birth was Rastafari.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I read that. We got about time. Let's take a quick. I still
Sons and daughters, we carry His name. So we prefer to be addressed as Rastafari.
Much respect. Let's take a next quick break, Jamster, and then we can go into the next 7 minutes, just talking until we end the program.
Here are your hosts of Value Mart IGA specials, running September 21st through October 4th. The more you shop, the more you save. Get double points on all grocery food items and meats until the end of September, and in the month of October, double points on dairy and grocery non-food items. Now, our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Bigelow teas, $10.99. Essential Everyday Grated Parmesan Cheese, $11.99. Yoplait Yogurt, $3.99. Blue Ribbon Ice Cream Tubs, $32.99. Renews It Adjustable Air Freshener, $7.49. And now our very low weekly value deals. Essential Everyday 100% Apple Juice, $8.99. Old Orchard Apple Cocktails, $9.99. Arm & Hammer Deodorant, $7.99. White Rain Shampoos and Conditioners, $4.99. Shop smart, shop Value Mart and get double points for more rewards today. Continuamos con las recompensas durante el mes de octubre. Recibe puntos dobles cuando haga sus compras aquí. Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
Have a song called News of the Caribbean. Fantastic. 25 minutes done past the hour of 1 o'clock. We're in the closing minutes, so to speak, of let's take a last call. We go straight to the phone lines. Caller, you're live on Voices.
Oh, I'm so glad I got back in.
Yeah, more of the clan
on
here.
my program.
On your program.
Now,
Sister Henry.
I got a book on Kindle. It's a free book, booklet.
Mm-hmm.
It is called The Battle of Brimstone Hill. It is free. If you have a Kindle account,
Okay.
each estate had to contribute 80 slaves. So when they have the fight, the thing showing the fight, the black slaves were involved. They helped to recapture Brimstone Hill from the French. And as I said, the book is free. You could have gone to Kindle if you have an account.
This guy
And
is
the free
checking.
books, it is called The Battle. And I was even saying in terms of Sandy Point and the area, they even gave in the book the location from which the attacks were done.
Wow.
So I was thinking, since you are celebrating, maybe some kind of a mark could be put up in the areas where they had the strategic placement of the soldiers. So see if you could get somebody to think it for you. I lost my account. But
Okay.
it is called The Battle of Brimstone Hill.
I'm going to have to find it.
Yeah, there's a large locust tree in the Governor General's yard,
The locust, the stinking toe.
Yeah, a big one, a very big one. And there's one in the cemetery adjacent to it, maybe one of the seeds dropped there. So if you want, just ask the guard. They could go and see. And they could last over a year now if you just want
Yeah.
in the shell.
I can see
They
where the
have, a
water.
kind of they have a kind of sulfur scent.
Oh, okay.
I can see why the Whartons love you.
Well, boy, I have equal amount of people who don't love me to it. So it balance out. Thank you,
Balance
Walter. You have
out.
to balance out. You understand?
Definitely.
So it doesn't bother me.
Well,
But
I
if
love
you
you.
get your hand on that book,
Thank
Yes.
you.
Battle of, it is a day-by-day account.
Oh, okay.
Even how the battle went, the placement and all this stuff. But slaves were involved in the recapture, recapturing of Brimstone Hill from the French. All right then. All right to the
appreciate it.
Whartons. Safe journey back.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
Tell
much.
all my family up there, all the Henrys, the Freeman, the Riley for my husband, the Bridgewater for my two uncles who went up there and died. And all the Kittitians who are listening today, at home and abroad. All of us,
bless
I
you.
am sending greetings. I'm the self-appointed
Sister Henry.
speaker.
Sister Henry.
It's nice having you. It's nice to know.
Sister Henry.
It's an inspiration.
Sister Henry.
Hello?
You did not send any visions. You said Katisha. What's going on with you?
I'll leave the part for you, You're part of a music. I don't want to hug all the things, you know what I mean? So say your piece. Because Kittitians, the majority of Kittitians have their root in evil.
That is correct.
All right,
is
so
correct.
God bless you. Safe trip.
Thank you
Bless
so
you.
very much,
Bless
guys.
you.
We are at the end of our program almost. So, quick words from you in terms of wrap up. We've got about a minute to go, so let's start with the ladies first.
Yeah, work on our history. It's there. We got to stand for something, or you fall for anything.
Okay, Pat.
Just a wonderful emotional experience. Just very quickly, maybe when we come next time, somebody from the UK is asking about support for people of Kittitian heritage who want to relocate to St. Kitts. So we need to have a conversation about that.
Yeah, we're going to make it the ambassador. Chris Collins, you're going to have company on that one.
Hey, Chris.
And Rudy.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you for the tours, for the couple of days you spent with us, taking us around the island and educating us. Like I said, I'm from Barbados and first time I've been on the island. And yeah, all inspiring. I really, really enjoyed the visit. Yeah.
The show is about content and the national discourse, and you would have made an invaluable contribution from your perspective from the response from the public who called in. They really, really appreciate.
Thank you.
Your contribution to the program. I'm sure the management is happy with today's presentation, and God's willing, we can do so in the future. Or maybe a link up from your end, from your station.
Maybe we should. I think really, actually, in all honesty, it would be great to do a link up. Quite how it would work, I don't know. I think
talk with Jamster, and we get this sorted.
Jamster, because lots of things. We're an internet radio station, and so I guess there's some way that we can do it. In fact, somebody mentioned that when I was here last about how we could stay connected. To be honest.
There you go. On that note, we want to thank all of you as the listeners and those who made the contribution via text, WhatsApp, or by call to today's presentation of Voices. My name is Socrates, and God's willing, I'll be here again on Wednesday morning. In the meantime, I wish you peace, love, and a much brighter tomorrow.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Yes, give them your best. Go all out, respect and nothing less.